One. Greetings all. This is Jim Watts with the Tulsa World, here with Jimmie Tramel, also of the Tulsa World. We represent the scene section and are here to talk about some of the things that are coming up this weekend for your dining and dancing and reading pleasure. We'll start off with on a note of hope, shall we, Mr. Tramel?
Okay. Oh, I got that. It took me a second, but I
saw what I did there.
on April the 9th, Friday, April 9th, on the same day in 1950, some fellow named Bob Hope had his first TV special. And so, and after that first special, obviously he had about 275 more, over the years. They were a staple of television, the Bob Hope specials. But just with that little peg of not being an anniversary date, I thought, well, let's go back and look up his Tulsa connections, because he was here. He's been quite a bit, almost always for charity events. Sure. He did a ton of charity work in Tulsa. And so I took a deep dive in our archives and through Voices of Oklahoma and some other resources just to find go back and look at all Roy Clark's connections to Tulsa. And there have been several. When Roy Clark, Tulsa's Roy Clark, hosted the Tonight Show, he was a guest host for Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show. Guest host, because Johnny took a lot of time off, that. So he needed guest hosts. But Roy was one of the guest hosts, and Bob Hope was his first guest. So he was nervous, like, what am I going to ask Bob Hope? How long you been in show business? But he said Hope sensed his nervousness or anxiousness and dragged out his answers to kind of give Roy Clark, to buy Roy Clark some time and get his feet wet. And many times Bob Hope came to Tulsa for Roy Clark's charity events.
Oh yeah, all the golf tournament things, yeah.
Yeah, and then Roy would return the favor and go to Bob Hope events, golf or something else. But don't want to give away the whole story here, but there's a lot of Tulsa connections to Bob Hope.
Oh, good. When is that going to be running?
It'll run in print on Friday, and if you're seeing this past tense, you can still access that story. Search for Bob Hope at tulsaworld.com.
Okay, and no doubt it'll be highly featured in Trending Now. So,
thanks to the memory, yeah,
exactly. Well, speaking of memory, live theater in Tulsa has been something of a memory for the past 14 months. But on May 1st, the second longest running theatrical production in the world resumes at the Spotlight Theater, which is The Drunkard. They have figured out how to do this show, because it's a small venue. It's not huge. The Riverside Theater, designed by Bruce Goff, but they're figuring out how to do it where it's safe, not only for the audience but also for the actors, because The Drunkard is an old-fashioned melodrama, very stylized ways of movement. There's a lot of fight scenes. There's a lot of tense conversations done face to face, and they've had to completely rework how the actors move and are on stage from what they had been doing in the past. And as one of the actors told me, he said it's probably going to be wildly entertaining, because they're going to forget and have to ad lib and do some things to cover up them learning their how to run into the furniture.
Sure.
But that's, to be honest with you, that's part of the charm of this whole production. This is an odd confession to make, but the very first television commercial I ever saw in Tulsa, we moved here in 1971, was for the drunkard. I did not attend a performance until 2017, simply because they always did it on Saturday nights, and there were so many other things I had to cover on Saturdays back when the world was young. But I finally did attend, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, it's very family friendly. Kids love it because they can, cheer for the hero and throw tomatoes at the villain, things like that. And everybody's there to have a good time and make sure everyone else has a good time. So it'll be worth checking out. They open May 1st. So start getting your tickets. Now I believe their website is spotlighttheatertulsa.com, but don't quote me on that.
Do people literally throw tomatoes at the bad guy?
They are given reddish soft projectiles. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
And I talked to the person who plays the villain, and he says, that's part of the fun. I get to cheat at cards, chase women, and people throw things at me. What more could you want on a Saturday night? So what else have you got coming up?
When you think of, obviously many businesses were impacted in a negative way by the pandemic.
Theater, performing arts of all sorts.
Yeah, but when you think of businesses that actually had an upsurge during the pandemic, maybe this might come as a shock to you, maybe it wouldn't, but it's these bad boys right here. Trading cards. Trading cards exploded during the pandemic and are fetching new records are being set all the time. Somebody paid $5.2 million for a Mickey Mantle trading card from 19.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And but it's bled down to not just that card, but all the way through the hobby. And I talked to two card store owners about the phenomenon, and they just said it's kind of amazing what's going on. And the theory behind it all being, not as much in Oklahoma, but things were shut down all over the country.
Sure.
And if you're yearning for a return to better times, and you go to nostalgia, and maybe there's a box of trading cards in your closet or your attic, and you get back in the hobby again, or because you have disposable income and you can't go to a ball game or the movies or a concert or something else, what are you going to do? You're going to get online on the internet, eBay, and you're going to buy baseball cards or trading cards. And this is not just sports cards. Pokemon cards are going there. A rapper paid $220 for a Pokemon card, and that was a record until about a few weeks later, and somebody pays $300,000 and change for a Pokemon card. So it's fascinating that although the hasn't been great for the economy, this pandemic, but for trading cards, it's been fantastic.
I take it you are a collector yourself?
You know what? I'm actually not.
Oh, okay.
I've really been into the trading card situation. I have some trading cards that I picked up along the way, of a favorite character or player or something. But a person can have only so many addictions, and I just don't have any room for any more addictions.
I remember, I remember going to it was like in a mall, and I just happened to pass by a card show, and I saw them. I saw a card that I recognized that I had as a kid years and years and years ago, and I don't know why I recognized it. It was of Roberto Clemente, but he was listed as Bob, and I think the reason why it was encased in plastic was because I think it was like the only year that he was referred to as Bob rather than Roberto Clemente. And I asked the guy, how much it was, and I think the price that he said at the time was like $500. And I thought, that card sounded really good in the spokes of my bicycle as I drove up and down the street.
Sure.
So you never know. All right. Well, let's see. Um, People want to know about food. The next thing that
I want to know about food. Tell me
you want
about
to know
food.
about food. Well, last week our review was for a place called Uncle Paco's Mexican Grill. It's a family-run Tex-Mex kind of a place. They, if you're, the food is good and you get quite a bit of it. And we'll be moving on to the latest incarnation of In the Raw Sushi, which is on top of the vast bank building in downtown, which coincidentally is the same building that houses the French Hen. So we'll be going up there and eating raw fish for a while. So we'll find out what we think about that next week. So, well, let's see. I think we're approaching our limit of time. I know that we're both running out of things to say and have things to do. So thank you, the 7 or 8 of you that watch these things. We do appreciate it. If you enjoy it, please tell our bosses. If you don't enjoy it, well, let's just keep that our little secret for now. We will see you next week. For Jimmie Tramel, this is Jim Watts signing off for now.
Bye.